Friends, tax season is upon us, yes, and Canadians are facing more confusion and uncertainty than ever this year. Have no fear. Adriana Molina from Credit Canada joins us today to help guide us through some best practices and tips for declaring COVID-19 relief benefits. Do we ever need your help? Good morning. How are you, Adriana?
Very good. Thanks. And yourself?
Good, thanks. Let's get right to these tips, okay? Top three tax tips includes do not panic, first of all, if you are owing taxes.
Yeah, for a lot of people, this might be the first time that they're owing taxes. So it's important for people not to panic and avoid knee-jerk reactions like going out and getting a loan from a second-tier lender or a payday loan just to pay taxes, because you do have options if you are struggling to make those payments.
Okay, so that's the second one. What are those options?
So for one, you can get in touch with a CRA, and they do, in some cases, offer tax payment arrangement plans where you can make smaller payments over a longer period of time in order to pay off that debt. You can also attach a hardship letter. Let's say you can't make any payments at the moment. Then you attach a hardship letter saying what financial difficulties you're facing, why you're facing them. Of course, it should have to do with something that's beyond your control, such as COVID, and that you lost your job. And then what's very helpful with that is if you also attach a budget just demonstrating just how tight your budget is. The other thing that you can do is speak to a not-for-profit credit counselor at Credit Canada, because what they can do is that they can actually take a look at your budget and maybe even help you put together the hardship letter. Or if you have unsecured debt, they can take a look at what options they have to help you pay off that unsecured debt, so that way you can free up more money and pay off the tax debt.
Because I know you're getting flooded with questions. A lot of people are being taxed for the first time because of CERB. They didn't realize that it would be added as an income, right?
Yeah, and there's also a lot of confusion just because some people did receive letters from the CRA in error indicating that they owed taxes on CERB payments that they had actually already repaid. So there is a lot of different confusion during this tax time just because of what happened in 2020.
So what advice do you give to sort out some of that confusion? How do you know when it's legit or if you're being charged and you shouldn't be?
Well, number one is if you receive a letter from the CRA indicating that you owe, even though you're positive that you don't ignore it. Get in touch with them, figure out where the discrepancies are, and make sure that it's legitimate so that you're both on the same page. Right now, it might be a little troublesome to get in touch with the CRA, but don't let that dissuade you. Try to start earlier in the day to get in touch with them just to clarify some issues, but do get in touch with the CRA if you do have, if there are any discrepancies between what you think you owe and what they're saying you owe.
Yeah, let's take a look at this. I love this one too on the screen. If you repaid any CERB payments in full in 2020, you should not owe any taxes this year.
No, and unfortunately, the CRA did send out some letters where there is causing some confusion around that. Now, what happens if you did receive CERB and then you realize, oh my gosh, I have to pay it back, and you paid it back in 2021 versus in 2020? In that case, you would still pay the taxes for your 2020 tax year, and then that will be adjusted for your 2021 tax year.
Okay. Now, a lot of people are vulnerable at this time, super stressed out. You read something, you panic. It's a knee-jerk reaction. What do you do if you fall victim to a fraudster? Because you said there's many scams out there. What do these scams look like?
Well, fraudsters like to take advantage of misinformation and times of confusion and chaos, just because it's easier to get vulnerable people to do the actions that they want them to. So, number one, just be very wary of any kind of communication that you get from the CRA. Like if you're getting a text message or an email saying that you owe, that's probably not them because the CRA will always get in touch with you with a letter. So be wary of any kind of communication you're getting right now from the CRA saying that you owe, or to just send them an e-transfer. Anything that seems fishy, like we've seen some cases where people were asked to pay whatever they owe in gift cards or in Bitcoin. And so if anything seems wrong, don't take any action. Get in touch with the CRA, and then if it turns out to be fraud, get in touch with the Canadian Anti-Fraud Center.
Yeah, whether you're getting a call, an email, no matter how legitimate it looks, they're so sophisticated these days. Always hang up the phone and call the source directly, and that's how you'll weed out all these with all the scams that are out there right now. So thank you so much for that, Adriana. For more information, creditcanada.com. Thank you so much for tending to these tips, because we all need them.
Thank you.
Stay safe. All right, Mel, over to you. What's happening in news?
All right, Dee, here is what we are following. Yet another school closing its doors because of COVID-19. St. Francis Xavier in North York. And we are going to check in with 680 News reporter Carl Hansky next with the latest.